The rain had been falling since morning, painting the streets of Portland in silver and gray. The world outside my window felt like a slow song, soft, melancholic, and endless. I was standing by the kitchen counter, holding a half-empty mug of coffee when I heard the knock. It was gentle at first. Then, a little firmer. I hesitated. Nobody usually came to my apartment unannounced. When I finally opened the door, Ethan was standing there, drenched, breathless, and somehow still smiling. "Hey," he said, trying to sound casual, though his soaked jacket told another story. "Ethan." I blinked, shocked. "What are you doing here?" He ran a hand through his wet hair, his usual calmness hidden behind nervous eyes. "I didn't know where else to go," he admitted softly. I stepped aside without thinking. "Come in." And that was how everything changed. Ethan and I had met 2 years ago at a community art workshop. He was the kind of person who noticed details, the way light hit a window, the sound of footsteps echoing in an empty hallway. Back then, I was still learning how to start over after losing my mother. We had drifted apart after he moved to Seattle for work. Life happened. Messages slowed down. Calls stopped. But now, he was standing in my living room like no time had passed at all. He placed his backpack near the couch and looked around. "You redecorated," he said with a small smile. "Yeah," I replied, folding my arms. "Life changes things." He looked at me, his expression unreadable. "I know." For a moment, the only sound was the rain against the windows. That night, Ethan stayed on the couch. I made him tea and gave him an old blanket I kept for guests I never really had. He didn't talk much. I didn't ask why he was here. It felt like one of those moments when words only get in the way. But as I watched him doze off, I realized how much I had missed his quiet presence. The next morning, sunlight peeked through the blinds. Ethan was already awake, making coffee like he used to when we painted together. "You still like it strong?" he asked. I smiled. "You remember." He handed me a mug, and for a second, our fingers touched. It was nothing, just a brush of skin, but it felt like a spark through the air. Over the next few days, Ethan didn't leave. He said his contract in Seattle ended and he needed time to figure things out. He offered to help around the apartment, fixing the leaky sink, repainting my balcony railing, cooking dinner. And somehow, slowly, the quiet rooms filled with warmth again. We laughed more. We talked late into the night. Sometimes about nothing, sometimes about everything. He told me he regretted leaving. I told him I stopped waiting the day I realized he wasn't coming back. There was silence after that, soft, painful silence, but not an empty one. One evening, we stood on the balcony, watching the city lights shimmer against the river. "You ever think about second chances?" Ethan asked. I turned to him. "All the time." He nodded. "Sometimes, life gives you one, but you don't realize it until it's almost gone." I smiled faintly. "Is that what this is?" He looked straight at me, his eyes gentle. "I hope so." The days stretched into weeks. He started sketching again, filling my apartment with drawings of everyday things, coffee cups, raindrops, my old typewriter. I hadn't seen him that alive in years. But one morning, I found him standing by the window, staring outside. "I got a call," he said quietly. "A gallery in New York. They want me to come for an exhibit." My heart sank, even though I knew I should be happy for him. "That's amazing," I whispered. He turned toward me. "It is. But I don't know if I can go." "Why not?" "Because of you." I froze. He took a step closer, his voice trembling slightly. "I left once. I don't want to make that mistake again." I swallowed hard. "You're not making a mistake, Ethan. You're chasing your dream." He smiled sadly. "You're a part of that dream." That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound, the wind, the ticking clock, echoed louder than ever. I thought about all the years I'd spent building walls around my heart, only to find him standing inside them again. By morning, I knew what I had to do. When he came out of his room, ready to tell me his decision, I handed him a small sketchbook. "What's this?" He asked. It's for New York, I said softly. For all the new things you'll draw there. He looked at me, his eyes full of emotion. You want me to go? I smiled, though it hurt. I want you to live. He nodded slowly, his gaze lingering on me. Then promise me one thing. What? Don't close the door this time. He left that afternoon. The apartment felt emptier than it ever had. But there was something peaceful about it too. Like letting go wasn't losing, but freeing both of us to become who we were meant to be. Weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. No envelope, just a folded piece of paper and a small sketch of me holding a cup of coffee. Below it, he'd written, "Greater than, you were my reason to start again." Months passed. I started teaching art at a local community center. Life found its rhythm again. Then one rainy evening, as I was closing up the studio, someone knocked on the door. That same gentle knock. When I opened it, Ethan was standing there, same eyes, same half smile. I kept my promise, he said. I didn't let the door close. I laughed through tears. Neither did I. He held out his hand. Can I come in? I didn't hesitate this time. Always. And as the rain began to fall again outside, everything felt exactly as it should.